Hey, just Jeff here. Today I'm going to give you a little bit of an update on the homestead. It's been a while since we've posted anything. We've been so darn busy, and when we do have a chance, it seems like the rain gets in the way. We've been harvesting like no other as far as getting our garden in. Last night we had a pretty good freeze, and so the garden is a little bit of a mess, but I want to just give you a quick update on where we're at and some of the things we're doing. Just rebuilt my compost bin, the one that caught on fire because I put in some ashes that I didn't realize were still too warm, and so we'll show you that, and we'll just kind of give you a quick update on the garden, so stay tuned. Okay, here's the new compost bin that we've built. I've got 2 sections done. I've got enough to do another 2 sections so far, and we're going to get 2 more cells built. This stuff here is compost that I've started back in July, and I've turned it once already, and it's going to be really good come spring. This is the cell that we're currently putting stuff in, and as you can tell, if I can get close enough here, the temperature is getting nice and warm. I'll continue to add to this for a while. I just got done mowing the lawn, putting in the grass and the lawn clippings in here, along with there's some leeks that we grew, onions, some peppers that we made some cowboy candy with, and so we just kind of throw anything greens and browns in here. Again, I just 2 days ago mowed the lawn, and when you look at it, it doesn't even look like I even did anything out there. But as soon as the wind starts picking up, a lot of these leaves here will start to drop, and so we'll be mowing a few times and should have plenty of leaves and stuff for the compost bin for next spring. One of the things we've been working on quite a bit is trying to get enough wood in. We got about 6 cords in. I've got about 2 more cords that are in rounds, so hopefully that'll last us through the winter. And we're going to head on out here to the garden. Kind of give you an update out here. The first bed right here is strawberries, and also some asparagus that we grew from seed. A few carrots over there. I'll give you a quick update. There's a bunch of sunflowers we put in the middle. You can see some sheets and plastic over there. We were trying to cover some of the tomatoes for this last frost that was here yesterday or last night. So we'll that's the purpose of those. Anyway, we'll go this way. If you look all around, we've got sunflowers there. We've been picking them, trying to save the seed for both the chickens and some bird seed for this winter. They're all kind of getting droopy, but they worked out real nice. They were very, very pretty. There's some more over here. All throughout the garden we planted various things, and I'll go through them as we walk along here. Over here we've got Swiss chard. We had onions, and we also had leeks in here, so we'll start preparing this bed. This is where our garlic's going to go, so we'll get this chard out of here, and then we're going to plant some garlic here coming up probably within the next week or 2. The next one over, we've got our lettuces. This is a second or third planting of lettuces. I also had the sheet there to cover up the lettuce. It's been real tender, real nice. Kind of fun here. This spring we had our grandson with us helping to plant, and somehow we ended up getting a bunch of seeds in the path, which was kind of neat. So we've got some sunflowers there. In this path here, in this bed here, we had carrots. We've got string beans, climbers. Gonna have to get a few more of those done. Here's a nasturtium that's died back because of the frost. We try and do a lot of different planting as far as different plants here and there. It helps with pests, and it really worked this year. I was really pleased. Our squashes, some of our squashes, again, they kind of died down, so we're going to be out here picking the rest of those. We had some zucchini over there. These are Lakota squash, which I think we've got a pretty nice one back here. Yeah, there's a nice one right back in there. This is all sweet corn. Didn't do great this year for some reason. We put lots of fertilizer and stuff. It just, I don't know what it was. But this wasn't the year for corn. Some more little, I think those are, I want to say banana boat, but I'm not sure. Pumpkin. That's the next thing we're going to have to get, is get out here and get our pumpkins done here. Some more pumpkins back in there. Those are turbines, I believe. Yep, there's a turbine pump. Oh, there's the guard cat. Hi, kitty. Yeah, you're out here patrolling, keeping the birds away. We got more squashes. There's birdhouse gourd. We'll make some birdhouses. I'm going to try and make birdhouses out of those. Autumn wings. That's what these little guys are. They're a decorative little squash. So we get them out here. These are all dried beans, and I don't recall. We've got a bunch of different ones. Navy peas, kidney beans, pinto beans. We've got a bunch of different ones. Calypso, Jacob's cattle. We got a few different kinds out there. These are called goose, I believe they're goose egg gourds. Little guys there. Well, the other thing we've had planting like along this, you can see a lot of these are snipped. That's from the deer. We've got deer that come in, so that's why we have such a big fence. Our bees are still going strong, and that really helped for pollination as far as the sunflowers and everything else that's in the garden here. These are some of our pumpkins. Did pretty good. Jack-o'-lantern pumpkins. Got a really neat one that is growing up and over the ladder there. Got a bunch of white pumpkins. And somehow we grew a whole bunch of white ones. These are, I don't know if they're pie purple. Let's see what they are here. These are Casperita. Just a Casperita pumpkin. So we got quite a few of those. There's another batch. And another batch. Plenty of those. And down over here, this was a first year thing that we decided we put in some hops, and kind of got a late start on them. So I'm hoping that they're going to come back this next year. But there's our hop vine, or our hop trellis. This was a flower bed that I wanted to put in just to put some flower or some color, because we have so many oranges and yellows that we wanted to get some different colors. We got some different sunflowers, which they're all done. But we have all kinds of purples and blues and pinks. Just really, really pretty. It really brightened the mood out here when there's not a whole lot of color. And also brings in pollinators. And a lot of these also help your pests as well. So, and I got a couple more different types of pumpkins here. Banana, let's see which one are these. Let's see what these are. Lunch lady. These are lunch lady gourds. And they're some pretty good sized ones there. And this whole row over here is all tomatoes. These are all bell peppers, which we've gotten a bunch of bell peppers. We like to eat them not only fresh, but we also freeze dry them. Work great. Different varieties of peppers here. Again, there's some more tomatoes. They're still kind of green, so looks like we're going to probably just have to pick them and let them ripe inside. More tomatoes. These are our determinates. Over there, those were the indeterminates. Indeterminates climb. Determinates all come off at once. That's why you see a lot of green. They're starting to turn now. Peas. They're pretty much done. That was our pea patch. These are all of our jalapenos. We had a lot of jalapenos. We love making cowboy candy. I don't know how many batches, 6 or 7 batches. We got lots of cowboy candy. Another thing that kind of spread all over and wasn't really the intention was dill. It's a great pest control, but it really self-seeds. So we have lots and lots of dill. Again, there's some more little planter of some leftover sunflowers we had. Different kind of neat. These are our cucumbers. We made some pickles. Great pickles. These were pickling cucumbers. And then over here we had our slicers, and we've pretty much picked all those already. Wonderful, wonderful. More dill. These are some more beans, and I don't know which kind, but we just kind of splattered the beans all over the place. There's some red jalapenos over there. Some more of them. Okay, these are some I think navy peas and black-eyed peas that are going around our horseshoe here. In the middle we just put in some leftover potatoes. We ended up getting 7 or 8 5-gallon buckets of potatoes. We grew reds, yellows, and purple. A lot of purple. So that's what those are. We're getting ready. We'll probably be checking this pretty soon. This is all popcorn, and we had to keep the popcorn separate from the bicolored corn because they'll cross-pollinate, and so it won't. What comes out is not very good. We've ran into that problem before, so we just separated them. These are our potato beds. I've already dug the potatoes up. You can see we've got some carrots. We did a lot of companion planting and just did a bunch of different things, which was kind of neat. It helped out. Like again, our pests were down quite a bit. There's some parsley. We picked a lot of that already. Some carrots mixed throughout. This is probably going to be oregano or something similar. There's more parsley, dill. That was a great big self-planting sunflower right in the middle of our path, but it was beautiful. Kohlrabi, which we've kind of let go, so now we feed those to the animals, the ones we got too big. So we just feed some of those every day until they run out. This is all pretty much cauliflower that we've picked, cut. Celery that we have covered right now. We tried covering them with the cabbage and broccoli leaves. Worked pretty good. More dill and stuff. This was kind of neat. We got to have a couple more frosts, but if you look up underneath here, we have Brussels sprouts, and you can see them, and so they are just really starting to come together. So we're pretty excited about that. More Brussels sprouts. And we come down into some cabbage, which we've been picking cabbage a little at a time. We got some chard also mixed in with this. Had some beets, celery, more cabbage. This is our chive area. Got fresh chives. That was bok choy that's gone to seed. We were eating a lot of that. Still got some cauliflower I need to get picked. We freeze dried a bunch of that, but we left some for eating fresh, so we got a few little plants left. Raspberries. And then right out over there we have our little orchard. Apples, plums, and cherry, I believe. And then down over here I have one of my little haskaps, which is right there. It's kind of like a blueberry. Grows really well in cold climates. And so yeah, that's pretty much the garden in a nutshell. We're getting ready to redo our beds. I might see if I can get a couple videos on showing you how we're going to prepare these beds. I've been cutting some 2x6s. I know we do have a mill on up on our property on the mountain, so I've been cutting 2x6s, and I'm going to enclose all these beds to make them like raised beds over there. We're finding that a couple things. One, we planted probably a little bit too close together on some stuff, as you can see how thick it is. And so when we water, we do overhead watering. When we water, it doesn't get down to the beds, and so the beds have been really dry, even though we're getting plenty of rain and water and stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and see if we can encase these in planter boxes, raised beds basically. And so I'm hoping that that will also kind of hold the water in, because the other thing too, the water, as you can see, as they progress, it gets more round, and so the water just kind of sheds off. And so we're trying to figure out ways of keeping that water in there. We have lots of compost, lots of woody carbon material, a lot of wood chips that are breaking down, and so it just doesn't quite stay on there long enough to absorb the moisture. And then just kind of what I was reiterating, we've got self-seeding dill everywhere, and it's going to self-seed again. So we'll probably see if I can grow some more cucumbers next year, so I can have a lot of pickles. I like pickles. And this was cantaloupes. We got quite a few cantaloupes up here in the northern, well, we're central part of Wyoming. They're real sweet. They're not real big. Those factors when we left, but that's kind of what they look like right there, just little guys. But they get, oh, I don't know, a little bit bigger than a softball. Real sweet. There's a couple more tomatoes in this bed, and then over here, which they're all dead, but back over here I forgot, these were our watermelon patch. You can kind of see where the dead vines and stuff. Got quite a few watermelons, and it was pretty neat. They're really good. They're not real red, but they're really sweet. Yeah, you got a little honeybee still. They're still active. There's not much on these because they've already pretty much been pollinated, but like everything else, the bees are doing what they can to get ready for winter. But that's kind of the garden in a nutshell. We had a very good harvest. We're still really trying to get a lot of this stuff in now. There's one other bed I forgot to show you, which is this one here. This is the other side of the bean trellis. We had onions in here, carrots, more carrots, nasturtium, and there's one of our little turban kind of went across and decided to be up there, so we got that one. There's a real beautiful turban right there, and yeah, so we've got all of these different ones here. Okay. Oh, we got some zucchini. We're feeding kind of what's left over. Those will go to the animals as well. So there's the picture of the garden, and we'll be getting it ready for winter here as soon as we can get everything picked and brought in. One of the plants that we've really taken a liking to and planted a whole bunch from seed in the house in March are marigolds. And we just had the marigolds. This is the best they've done. I don't know why, but they've just, man, they were all over. So we just had all kinds of oranges and yellows. Planted them in different places. Just kind of a plant here, plant there. They're excellent for pest control. And yeah, it's been really fun watching these. They're kind of dying back again. We just had a frost, but I wish I could have gotten out here earlier to see the whole color. In this next summer, I'm going to try and make sure I get out here and show kind of what this is in full splendor. So and kind of getting to the point where we've got some droopy sunflowers. That kind of just sums up the year. Well, thank you for coming along on this quick tour. I feel really bad that you're kind of seeing it at the end of the season. I should have tried to get out here, made some time, and come out and show you what the full garden looked like. But next summer I'm going to try and be a little bit better on that. But thanks again for coming along, and until next time, have a great day.